11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 4 p.m. What am I saying? We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. We're about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. We run the show live on YouTube, and we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We're watching the live chat, the live text chat that's coming in over on gunchannels.com, as well as YouTube. All the show is live. Then when it's all over, usually we'll in a week or so, we'll take the audio and post those as podcasts over on iTunes. So we ask anybody who's listening to the show now, or if you're listening in the future, we ask you to do the favor of going over to whatever platform it is you listen to the show on and subscribe to our channel there, interact with the shows, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment. All those actions let us know where you are. They also help our show to get recommended to more viewers. At least that's the goal. So we do appreciate people that take the time to do that favor for us. We have 4 hosts. We're all here today. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yep. We got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining in.
Yep. Glad I could make it.
And then we got Smeggy jumping in from Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
And I'm down here in Arizona. So today is this spreadsheet. Today is Thursday. It's episode 324. We have a random segment that we're going to have to go wild on because we didn't. We stole the segment from today over to yesterday. We're going to be talking about training, best knee pads for a class, and then we'll be looking at the calendar of events, shooting related events that are coming up on the calendar, as well as all the stuff we hit on a daily basis, like a gun shop of the day and a gun of the day and a gun movie and everything else. Before we dig into episode 324, though, is there anything that happened overnight, anything we want to talk about?
I do have one thing I want to mention. Everyone's aware that Gander Mountain is going out of business, and I received an email today that they're taking 15% off all firearms at this point. So if you are thinking about it, granted the prices start high in the first place, but at 15%, it might be worth at least a phone call or checking out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I heard a joke. Gander Mountain having going out of business sale. All firearms now at the low price of MSRP.
Good point.
But
it's always worth checking.
Something. Actually, I got my Ruger American from there, and it was a pretty darn good deal. So if you find just the right thing, I think you can get a good deal.
Yeah. I mean, on a $500 firearm, that's $75. So it's not a ton, but it's something. Another topic I just want to bring up at the beginning of the show for those who happen to be here early, and I'll probably mention it later in the show, is we're starting to get really low on questions for the Tactical Pop Quiz. So I'm going to ask a favor of the audience, and if you have some questions you would like to see in the quiz and get credit for, please send us an email at dailygunshow@gmail.com. In the subject line, just put Tactical Pop Quiz question, and then put in your question, answer, and the source of the answer. I would appreciate that greatly, as well as it would keep the variety of the Tactical Pop Quiz up, rather than if it's just me trying to find questions, you're probably not going to get a lot of variety. Where if it comes from various sources, it's going to be as various as the sources are. So please give it a shot. Do you like that? Give it a shot.
Yeah. And
anyway, you know, Tactical Pop Quiz.
I meant to mention it the other day. I was going through the newest NRA magazine and, just reading the articles like normal. And for whatever reason, my brain was just in like trivia mode. So when I would read like a sentence that, it's like one of those throwaway sentences, right? They're explaining something. We're like, and this is based off the blah, blah, blah from 1932 or whatever. I'm like, oh, that could be a question. So I have to go back through the magazine and remember what the heck it was that I saw. But I might be adding some stuff to Tactical Quiz just try and figure out a way to word it. It was like, you know, little tidbits and facts and things, and those turn into good questions if I can figure out the wording.
Giving everyone
Yeah,
a
and
hint.
that's a great example of. And that's a great example. If you have something that's not necessarily off the internet, just put in the name of the magazine, what month's edition it came off of. That's good enough. At least you're sourcing where you got it from, and that's all I'm looking for.
So you're saying that could be like Popular Mechanics, 1988, page 75. There's a good question for your show on there. I could just keep that.
Well, no, you give me the question, you give me the answer, and then you say 1975.
Okay.
Or Science magazine article about said subject.
Yeah, so heads up, everyone. Join the NRA and get their magazine and then read it cover to cover. And then you'll know all the answers to at least the questions that I'm putting in there whenever they happen to pop up.
So everyone has a homework assignment over the coming, 5-6 shows. You must read a gun magazine or something related to that and send in the question, answer, and source to dailygunshow@gmail.com. Subject, tactical pop quiz.
So we got sort of a free time here. I don't know if we just want to dig into something else and use the free time later, or
well,
be out there.
I do have a question.
Okay.
It's not exactly a segment, but it is a tidbit. No, Bob, not a tactical tidbit, just a tidbit.
And not a tidbit.
I purchased a upper, and I'm changing the muzzle device from a birdcage to what's called a projector. And the question I have is, I bought a pistol upper.
Oh.
What?
You just broke up when
Okay.
you said it, Dano. We didn't know what you were talking about. So an AR pistol upper is what you were talking about.
Yes, and I'm changing the muzzle device. It did not come with a crush washer. The question is do I have to then purchase a crush washer?
Yes, a gold-plated one would be preferable.
Okay, Bob. From someone that's actually knows what they're talking about, do I need to purchase a crush washer?
Do you have a peel washer?
I haven't taken the original one off yet, so I'm not sure what's left in place or if they even used one.
Well, I know that you can't really reuse the old washer. That's kind of the whole point. It gets all smushed on there when you do it, and that's the whole point of them. So you don't get that same effect if you try and reuse one that's already been smushed. Just buy a crush washer.
I guess because I made the assumption that send me one because of that exact condition, and it didn't come with it. So now I'm just confirming that yes, indeed, I do need to purchase a crush washer. Is that the case?
On a pistol, it's not that big a deal. I mean, you want to have a crush washer on there so your muzzle device don't spin off, or if you're putting on like a bayonet kind of can or something, so that it has a foundation that ain't going to spin off. But on a pistol, it probably don't matter. So if you are cheap and you want to reuse your crush washer on a pistol, I don't think anybody will call the police on you. It might be off by a little bit.
Okay, but without even a used crush washer, that's a bad idea. Is that correct? Okay.
I mean, it's not the thing in the world. I don't know if it'll even tighten all the way on, for one. There's probably not going to even tighten all the way on. And then if it did, it might screw up the finish or something. Like, it's insignificant or not really of consequence on a pistol. It's not like you need that thing on there that bad.
No, it's just that if it were to come undone, and let's say it was partially threaded on, that last 16th of a thread, it could muck up the threads as the pressure just shot the device right off the end.
Right.
Yeah, you could just smear JB cold weld on it, and that would fix it.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I'm pretty sure crush washers we're talking about 7 to 8 cents. I mean,
yeah, they're pretty cheap.
It really should not be the end of the world. So
exactly.
Get a washer. Do it right the first time. It'll save you a headache down the road.
Yep. Now, have any of you ever had or used a AR pistol?
Yes.
And if so, do you happen to recall what barrel length it was?
Mine's a 7-inch barrel.
Just out of curiosity, what sort of barrel device did you end up using, or do you have on there?
Surefire muzzle brake. A Surefire muzzle brake.
Okay. Now, did you? Because I've heard in regards to muzzle brakes on pistols, first of all, you've already got a lot of gas close to you, and that muzzle brakes tend just to bring even more gas. Is that not the case? At least in your experience?
Well, they don't amplify the gas. That's not technically or physically possible. So they divert it out.
They redirect it.
Right. Oh, they redirect it to the side. It's loud. Yes. I just put it on there because it's expensive and I got it. And I don't have anything else to put it.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, but Daniel, didn't you say you're getting the one that deflects to the front? So you're pushing all
yes,
that.
Yes, I have the projector.
Anyways? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
so all the sound and the gases and stuff will go forward. So you'll just piss off like anyone downrange from you, which if someone's downrange from you, they're probably a bad guy. So who cares?
Yeah. What are they doing downrange is my question.
Well, could be an accident.
That's my point.
You're the one
anyone downrange would be a bad guy, because if you were just at a regular range and someone was downrange, you obviously wouldn't be shooting at that time.
So what makes you want to put, you're talking about one of them cups that points forward. Why would you put one of them on there? What made you make that decision?
Because of the, as I checked it out, it sounded like a low cost, would work fairly well as far as pushing the gases, since they're being released at a much shorter distance rather than, let's say, at 16 or 18 or 20 inches. They're being released at 7, 8, 10 inches.
I mean, did you come across that in an article or video or something, or did somebody have one and you thought it was interesting or something, or what made you decide to go after that in the first place?
Actually, I watched a couple different videos on this topic. Like it's scientifically researched. But that is my understanding, and I figure I'd give it a try. Especially with
the science guy told you to do it.
No, but the main difference, my understanding, is if you go to an indoor pistol range with a muzzle brake on anything, whether it's a pistol or a carbine, you're not going to make a lot of friends. Where at an indoor pistol range, this is at least not going to piss off the guy next to you. Versus having a muzzle brake that will.
Well, that's an interesting.
So again, most of the time I do shoot outdoors.
That's an interesting subject. When you go to an indoor range, I guess it matters more. But when you go to any range with a AR pistol or an AK pistol, is it your fault or the other guy's fault that that gun's loud? I mean, if you were there by yourself, nobody'd be complaining. That's the guy that's there making it, somebody complain. So is it his issue because he can't handle loudness at a gun range? Or are you bringing a gun that's louder than the other guns and it's somehow your issue?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point.
For not allowing suppressors to be easily obtained. Because, it's good neighborly to not make a whole bunch of noise.
That's a good answer. I would suggest it's that guy's fault for going to a place that's noisy and complaining about it. And if we were in a situation where the NFA wasn't an issue and people could put shit on there and that guy chose not to, then it might be the guy who's still loud. But right now, because of the NFA, it's the listener who's at fault in that situation, I think.
Yep, and I would just say when you go to the indoor range, because this is what I always do, I put the foam plugs in my ears and then put earmuffs on, just because it is so much louder inside. So maybe it's his fault that he's only, stuck a couple of 9mm cases in his ear or something.
Yeah, and I've done that at indoor ranges because it is significantly louder. I mean, because there's no place for the sound to go.
I'm really surprised they don't do more with sound deadening. I went to one range that had those like eggshell things all on the walls, and it was a major difference. And I'm like, that stuff can't be that expensive. Why isn't like it should just be good business practice to do that? But I guess they figured people don't care.
I would say it probably depends on the pricing in the market you're at and how cost sensitive your customers are.
Are you talking about those foam triangles that are all over the walls
Yeah.
that would collect lead gases like a lead sponge, then be toxic lead depositories all down the wall all the time?
Well, it seemed like they were kind of coated with something. They weren't like soft, squishy foam, but that's I was using that as an example. I have seen it. They have like the baffles, the triangle baffle things all down the side, and it was significantly quieter. So I guess they decided it wasn't a lead issue. I don't know. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe that's that one, and then everyone else is like, dude, that's a dumb idea, so they don't do it. But I hadn't thought of that. But
I've noticed that I almost never see that. In fact, I don't think I ever have. And I suspect it's something to do with massive EPA restrictions and regulations and whatever compliance that they have to do.
I mean, I can't even imagine the cost of the air filtration systems that they're required to have.
I can.
You know what? I can't even imagine there's a possible scientific way to calculate the flow of a system like that. Oh well, if only there was
Especially,
I can't imagine so many of them use a recirculating air filtration system. That just seems like, God, you got to be changing those filters all the time. It seems like the cost of operation, it'd be better just to bring in outside air and treat it. But apparently it's not. Someone crunched the numbers, but it seems kind of odd to me.
And then just kick that lead air out into the world?
Well, no, it still goes through an abatement system.
Well, it's heavy. It's not going to go that far, about 15 feet from the building, and then all collect in the grass.
No, they have scrubbers. Come on. They're not just putting a big-ass exhaust fan out there.
Talking about temperature, too. So if they're just going to condition a bunch of air to temp and then throw it away, that would be pretty expensive.
Well, and it is, and that's why
if there were giant
places
exchangers in the ceiling, they could have tubes running up and back into the ceiling.
You guys realize your parents all grew up with lead in the paint, with lead in the exhaust of every car that drove by them, right?
No, my parents are crazy.
We're too young for that. Your parents had all that. Your generation happened. They solved it, and now we're normal.
It wasn't Bob's parents. I do have a clarification.
Does that explain?
It wasn't Bob's parents. It was Bob.
Well, no, but then it would mean we're the ones with the paint issue. I want his generation to have to deal with the paint issue, and we were corrected.
Bob was, scraping the paint off the chips off the wall and eating them as a young baby.
Your generation grew up chewing the layers of lead paint that were underneath the nice eco latex stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Except we ate it all so that the next generations never had to deal with that. So we don't get the gratitude.
Yeah, that does kind of
and
explain
we thank you
the millennial generation, right? All these whiny kids.
And I want to thank you for eating all those chips, Bob.
I didn't eat paint. I wasn't.
You did us all a great favor. Oh, I beg to differ.
Gasoline.
Yeah, well, people in Flint are drinking the lead. That's a good point.
Yep.
And that city's fine. Nothing wrong ever happens there.
Nope.
I don't know if you can blame the lead for that, though.
There actually have been studies that show exposure to lead during developmental stages of the brain has a tendency to make people more aggressive.
Well, we're kidding around about it, or maybe just not, we just wandered into the topic, but that would be interesting at some point to have a doctor on as a guest, or at least someone who's, knowledgeable scientifically, whatever, about the effect of lead. I know a couple of people that have had lead poisoning, and they do not kid around about it. They wash their hands, their beard. They're they make sure everybody else does whenever you go shooting with them. Like, to the point where like the rest of their lives, like they're really concerned about it. It accumulates in you. I'm sure people have heard that before, right? It doesn't. That's the problem with it. It accumulates in you. So I guess once you get toxic to it, it's really difficult to get it out of there because it has already accumulated. So it's a difficult.
It's a heavy metal, so it probably accumulates in your bones and shit.
He never really mentioned it, but I assume a lot of the therapy is standing on your head to get it to come loose.
Well, would that make you like Wolverine with the adamantium skeleton?
No, I think they tried
They
that.
make it all the time, and yeah, it's pretty miserable. So anyway, we're
Like,
a
look at
lot of people haven't dealt with it, but it is something that we could potentially get to have to deal with. This guy was just a Marine and what do you call it, a shooter, just a regular person who was an enthusiast. So no different than really anybody else, just happened to accumulate faster in them and had to deal with it, where a lot of people, at least I'm not familiar with too many people that had to deal with it. They make those wipes specifically, some kind of something in the wipes that removes lead or collects lead or deneutralizes the lead or whatever it does. But maybe they would be an interesting guest because they probably know the science. I'm assuming behind all
that'd
that.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody knows about them. Like a rep or somebody.
See, I always wash my hands after, but I remember this topic has come up in the past, and you had mentioned the thing about washing the beard, and I had never thought of that. And since then, I do always, wash my face down, and I wash my hands all up, like up my arm, up my elbows, and things. Just any splashback.
This is weird. Like, you guys are so the generation's so different than what it was when I was younger, and we just didn't care about that shit.
Yeah, that's why our lifespan's longer.
Well, supposedly, but look, I'm still around. And like when I was a kid, we used to carry like rounds for
barely 10 years older than us. You're not a whole generation different than us. They're probably in the same.
He is to me.
My extra couple of rounds for my 22 because it was a single shot. I'd keep them in my mouth. Never thought nothing of it.
You went to school with 22s in your mouth. You had them in your mouth all day, chewing on them like gum, and then you'd shoot them on the way home.
Oh, just when I was shooting, it was a handy place to keep them.
Well, then, yeah, if you miss with your single shot, you can just bite down with your teeth and you just shoot one from your teeth.
I have sucked on 22s before. That's a thing. Really, I've done that.
Now, I do have to say that if Bob's being serious, and I'm afraid he is, that really does explain a hell of a lot.
Hey,
No.
everybody I grew up with had single shot 22s, and we all did it.
Yeah, I remember
It
doing
was a
that.
way to keep.
Well, I can tell
Do
you,
they not have pockets?
until this moment,
No, exactly, because you've only got like 3 or 4 rounds, and you're running around. So, yeah, we would carry
You got them in your pocket. They're hard to get at. If you're out in the middle and you got a whole bunch of gophers out there, you want to get your shots off as quick as you can.
If we weren't shooting at mammals, we were shooting at birds. It don't matter.
until this discussion, I have never met or heard of anybody that put ammunition in their mouth.
It happens.
Yeah, you ever watch an old western? Do it too.
I bet you the cowboys did it when they were gunfighting.
Yeah. Then you just like when you put that open the loading gate, you pop the old round out, you spit the new one in. Way quicker.
I don't know about that.
Takes some practice to get really good at spitting the round into the chamber, but
Well, Garand says that Bob is shooting his mouth off. So
Well, I think Bob is showing the side effects of putting lead in your mouth.
well, we started all of that with AR pistol.
Do you need a crush washer?
Do you need a crush washer? And I think we've run that. We actually did make a full topic out of do you need a crush washer?
Yep.
So I think we should probably.
it's wonderful how discussions evolve.
So yesterday
Consider this topic solved.
Yeah. So yesterday we had the guys on who were C&R FFLs. That was actually today's topic, so we stole it from ourselves and had a dead topic today. So that was our intro to the show there. I guess now we will move on to an official topic, training, and we're going to talk about knee pads and all the other protection equipment, I suppose, since we were just talking about protection from sound a little bit. But before we dig into that second segment today, why don't we take a break between the first and second segment to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels, like we do every day. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community. It's focused on firearms. Plenty of things to do over there. The 24-hour gun show, we've got a questions and answers area. You can ask questions or answer questions. You can rank people's questions or answers to give people sort of points so that when their answers or their answers can weigh a little heavier for future questions. That's kind of fun. There's the calendar. We'll be talking about that later today. And then, of course, all the live events and things like that. So we like to feature one of the members over there between this first and second break every day. And today it is Dogbodyofficial. Relatively new, at least from my, at least I've noticed the name being more active recently. I can never tell if somebody's joined a while back and sat in the sidelines and then decided to start pitching in more or whatever. But at least as far as I'm remembering, fairly new member, but fairly active on the YouTube side too, right?
Yeah, I've noticed him lately as well. And so as far as typing messages or thoughts, he's relatively new. But you're right, he could have been around for longer.
Yeah, I'm not at all familiar with him, so I can't really chime in on that.
There's also something probably to having a username that's like that, like Dog Body. I think that's one, at least for me, because maybe it's got that dog in it. You know, catches my eye more or something. So maybe I saw it because of that. Anyway, yeah. So I also noticed in the Daily Gun Show showdown, he's been participating in that a bit.
Yep, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, is that he's one of the ones that started using it, and he posts, it seems like, a few pictures a week of different things. So keep up the good work. And you're right, I've seen him on YouTube and the Gun Channel side watching the Daily Show.
And he's over on the YouTube side right now. So thanks for watching. So I guess, and I grabbed those. There's really no theme this week. Every once in a while we'll have a theme throughout the week. I just grabbed people that were active in the chat when we were creating the show. So we're going to be talking about our training segment and knee pads. I think Dano's got the only knee pads that are worth talking about, honestly. Knee pads are kind of a big thing. If you're actually fighting, knee pads would be great to have, right? But here and there, when you're training, going down onto your knees for shooting stance or for taking cover, or I don't know, just because you get tired and you need to rest more, or you know, physically fall down or something, going to your knees can be strenuous, especially when you get older and fatter. Everybody's getting fatter when they get older. Very few people get thinner as they get older. So even if you are thinner, I guess, though, you start to get brittle like everybody. So yeah, it can be pretty devastating to old folks and young folks. You know, you can take a bit of a jump in, you know, abuse for a while, and then you're going to wear your shit out, and then you can't take abuse at all. So I could really see the advantage when you're young to protecting your shit, because that means it's going to last longer in the long run. But I've tried only about 3 different kinds, but I'm not an idiot. I've used knee pads in the past. Alta's kick ass. I wouldn't even recommend another brand unless there's a brand that rips off Alta really good. Alta makes knee pads for like roofers and guys that do tile, so they know what they're doing. They're perfect. They're basically like wearing the most comfortable set of like tile knee pads, except they look cool and they're made of like multicam. I've actually got a set that somebody takes a set of Altas and replaces the padding with 2A armor, and they're armored. So for the guys in Humvees and stuff, because they would be, you know, not armored on their knees, this guy swaps out so that you get armor on your knees.
Right. And the reason I got some is for training classes, is that especially, you know, when you go to a training class, most likely you're going to be going to a range. And between, you know, number one, the rocks, regardless of where you're going to go, there's going to be rocks. And two is not all ranges necessarily have people pick up the brass. And, you know, you go down on a piece of brass that's mouth open up, you know, directly facing your knee, and you put your knee down, it'll cut right through your pants and right into your skin. I mean, don't underestimate how sharp a used brass casing can be, cutting right into your knee with your full body weight going right down on top of it. So you can do a lot of damage to your knees just in a training without putting proper protection. And they're not overly expensive. Like what I'm showing right now is like $22.50. to have delivered, and it has a hard shell on the outside and then a pad on the inside. You know, they're not the most expensive. They're also not the cheapest, but they do get the job done, and it's a product that I would recommend for sure if you're going to go do the type of training where you might be going to one knee or two knees or something like that, because your knee joints are actually fairly fragile as compared to other joints. You got a lot of cartilage, a lot of tissue down there that can be torn relatively easily, and you need to do what you can to protect it. It takes a long time to come back from a knee injury, if ever.
Yeah, I've actually used knee pads for years and years because back when I was younger, I played paintball, and the one thing I figured out right away is you're often just like hitting your knees really hard because you're diving for cover and stuff like that. And yeah, you don't know what you're going to land on. So it started out with just putting like heavy foam padding in the knees of the camo pants I was wearing to actually wearing like a roofer's knee pad. And some people kind of look at you like, what the fuck? But hey, it made a big difference. And like now that I'm older, I'm kind of glad I did, because even with all the motorcycle crashes, my knees are still in reasonably good shape.
So on my screen, I've got the same company, Alta, except the multicam ones that look cooler. But these are definitely the best ones out there. They got this heavy plastic, whatever, riveted on the front. So that's, your abrasion resistance, I guess. And then you've got that heavy Cordura nylon behind it in the multicam or whatever color you buy. And then you've got the side view here. They got these triangle look and shape connectors, and that's the key to it all. Whatever design shape they made here works really well. You can leave the top one on and leave the bottom one loose, so you forget it's there. And then if you need them, you just connect the bottom one. Or if you're going to be running all around, I guess, on your knees, you put the bottom one on. You almost don't need it. And then they're just super comfortable, and they don't get super sweaty or anything. They're lightweight, and then they're like a gym shoe for your knee. They really, really work well. The other ones that are out there, I don't know what they're thinking, but they didn't ever put them on and try them. Altas are made by, like, say, for guys that do roofing or construction or floors and stuff. So they're really just a version of that. And for guys that are doing floors and stuff, they don't want to be fiddling with their knee pads every time they stand up or sit down. And that's how these are made. You can leave them on, they're there, and you can secure them on, and they're not very uncomfortable at all. But the other thing, from what Bob was saying, jumping down, I think just having the advantage of being able to wiggle around when you're on your knees, scoot around, you can do it infinitely better when your knees are under this kind of padding with a piece of plastic on the front. You can scoot around in almost any environment, really. Or shuffle around.
And especially with a lot of outdoor ranges have that like gravel stuff, and you don't want to be sliding around in that. You'll rip your knees up, or rip your pants up. I mean, those will save your blue jeans also.
Yeah, knees are one of those things I think people don't necessarily appreciate how fragile they actually are until you actually have an injury.
Yeah, you and I have that motorcycling thing in common, Dano. So we both know what happens in accidents on motorcycles to your knee.
Yep.
So I blew mine out wrestling when I was like 12. So I understand that knees are important.
Oh, I spent quite a bit of time with a visiting Canadian, and every time you get in a bar fight, poor son of a bitch who got in a fight with them, their knees would just go right out. So I know what it's like.
He's a knee kicker.
Every time he'd start shit, the guy would turn around and start the fight, boom, knee goes out.
But if you are interested in buying a pair of knee pads at some point, granted, G-Webs has shown
I threw the link
one site. Actually,
I threw the link.
Okay, it's both the one that he's showing and the ones that I'm showing are from the same company, yet are still two different prices. So make sure you look around a little bit.
No, hell no. The ones you got there are like regular ones for regular people. Mine are cool color. They got like Coyote or whatever. That's why they cost more. So.
Right. One is 22, one is 35.
No, the multicam one's 35 because you got to pay for the licensing. But the tan one was like 28.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 33.
So, but my point is I find it ironic that even on Amazon you can find the exact same product for two different prices. So you still need to look around.
One looks cool and one looks nerdy.
No, it's for the material though. Yeah, I mean, buying black nylon is one thing. Buying especially a copyrighted camo pattern, you just have to pay more for that, I think.
Well, if you're buying it for style, I guess then you're willing to pay more. Then that's your decision.
Style.
I don't mean you personally. I just mean the person.
Well,
I'm not buying something to go out to the range to be styling.
Yeah, you're going to go to Ops with a big orange thing on your knee. Go for it.
I could really give a fuck what I look like when I'm out there.
All right, well,
Sniper will be targeting your knee then, Dano.
yeah, exactly.
Especially with Canadians.
The guy with the orange
Much
knees.
more interested in function than I am style. But everybody's different, and like I said, if that's what you're interested in, that's fine.
If the extra $4 to look like a dork, if you don't feel like paying that, then you don't feel like paying that.
Fuck all you.
He's very hostile today, saying a lot of naughty words.
All right, well,
man. In a bad mood.
besides,
A bunch of fastinistas in here.
so
What the hell's going on?
So aside from knee pads, not even interested in elbow pads. I've never seen anything where anybody went to where they were, unless you fall down or something, where you go to your elbows. So no interest in elbow pads. They're in your way all the time. And like I said, I just don't ever see anybody go into their elbows. What do you guys think? Would you deck out in elbow pads?
No. Never found a need for them.
I think unless you're going to do it repetitively for a certain type of training where you're going to do like a repetitive prone position, and that I would say no.
Yeah, that's a good point though. Prone, that might be kind of helpful if you're like braced out on your elbow or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
But
if you were doing like long-range sniper type training, you're crawling around on your knees and elbows, then yeah, I guess I could see that. But
I don't know. Bob is also the guy who shoots all from an unstable platform. So I've seen Bob shoot rifle. I'm going to say I don't agree with Smeggy. I don't think I would want a bunch of extra stuff between my elbows and the ground. I want my elbows like spikes into the ground. You know what I mean? So unless those knee pads, elbow pads were really, really secure so that they were like a second skin and I wasn't losing anything to any kind of twist or compression or torque or nothing. Because you know how when those things will twist, you're not on the ground anymore. There's that.
Yeah, but we're talking about training when there's nothing on the line. You're just training. So why would you purposely, possibly injure yourself?
Number one, because I'm shooting at a target real far away. So am I training to be comfortable or am I training to shoot my gun accurately?
No.
I'm saying if I'm talking about
you want to be
tiny little movement are going to be big, giant misses downrange. I don't want my elbows to be an unknown. Elbows are part of my shooting platform is what I'm saying.
And if you injure yourself while you're trying to get that injury, you won't have to be worry about shooting long distance for long.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to
injure myself. I've never injured myself shooting a rifle sitting there. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what the hell are you doing where you're laying there shooting a target and you hurt yourself? Oh, I do shoot 40 and 45. You're right, but that doesn't hurt my points.
What does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
I know that a lot of times the sub-caliber people will think about the large caliber shooters and think, how could they possibly do that without some kind of physical supplementation or support?
Yeah. I want my mindset and my body to be in as best a condition for the time that I might actually need it, and I'm not going to risk it while training.
Okay, so then where do you draw the line? Goggles and a helmet while you're training? Because
what I'm going to risk is, let's take a step back to knee pads. I want to protect my knee, so in case I ever have to take a knee, my knee is in as good a physical shape as possible.
All right, don't get mad at me. And then, I hear you, but then again, unless you're jumping to prone, like in a Costa class, I don't see people getting down into the prone so fast that they're like, oh, I've injured my elbow. So
well, and I guess I was referring to a Costa class where you are doing repetitive. You're literally running and then getting down into the prone position from either a jogging or a running position.
Doesn't quite do that, but yeah, I hear you. And maybe in something like that, I'd almost consider it, but then it would have to be still like concrete or like hard gravel or something, because you've dived into a shooting position before. You use your rifle stock in the Army. We used our rifle stocks in our knees or whatever. Nobody ever teaches you to jab your elbows down, like save your chin by jabbing your elbows down. People have you get into that position in different ways so that you don't hurt yourself. And I don't know. I mean, I guess the disadvantage of having elbow pads on is where you're going to put them on your biceps. You're going to seriously have that thing wrapped around your bicep all the time, and you can't really wrap them around your your forearm, because then they're flapping all around every time you move your elbow.
Well, I guess the only scenario that I'm suggesting you might want to consider it is in those training classes where you are running and kind of like going down quickly to a prone position, and you don't. It's not necessarily all beautiful Kentucky grass. It might be rocks, it might be stones, it might be a field of weeds and other crap.
Right. So
that's an extreme circumstance, but if that's the type of training class you're taking, then yes. But most people don't take those. So 99% of the time, I'm going to say no, don't.
Then good, I'm satisfied. So William Hendricks is saying most prone shooters use a pad, like a yoga mat. That's a good point. A lot of the shooters do have a shooting mat or something that they use for consistency.
And they're going to go out the field with a running mat.
That's what I was trying to get a word in earlier on, was that when I was thinking of the elbow pads for training, I wasn't even imagining, Supermaning into prone position. I was thinking more of like where you're laying prone all day, like you're specifically learning the stuff. And for whatever reason, in my mind, the elbow pads that popped into my head were like just kind of the soft, squishy ones. So you could just leave those on your elbow. And so that point that you brought up of them shifting around and stuff, I hadn't thought of that before. I've never worn elbow pads to go shooting. So, I mean, I'm just
talking about like the kind, they're almost like socks or like a wristband, except they got padding and you pull them up higher to your elbow.
Yeah, they just they're stretchy, but then they do have like a little bit of foam in the elbow part.
Yeah. For like soccer or something even, or like karate or something more.
Yeah. And like I said, for whatever reason, that's what my brain popped into. And I was like,
my problem is when
I'm laying prone, I could like squish that down into the ground and then my elbow wouldn't hurt so much.
My problem is my gorilla arms. I'd have to use like maybe regular people's knee pads for my elbows because my gorilla arms. But
this is
elbow too much.
Yeah, and this is where different body types matter, because I have long, lanky alien arms, and I have like daggers for elbows. So I mean, my elbows come to a really sharp point.
That is a good point.
Like something to round it out a little bit.
And different types of shooting. So Carr is saying used his Army bedroll shooting pad. That's a good one. That just piece of foam basically they give you. Really rugged. I hope they give them a more rugged one nowadays. There's got to be better foams than there were back in the day.
No, but I've often thought that, or wondered, I should say, not thought, that except for those that are actually training to get some sort of or enjoy sniper type shooting, with that exception, why somebody would ever use a pad?
Here, what? Shooting pad? I use them, and I don't even give a shit. It's just because they're comfortable when you're out there, and it's gross, and it's like a bunch of bugs or like debris all over the ground or sharp rocks, and it's hot. That's another thing. You could be hardcore or whatever. You go try shooting at 114 degrees on the desert sand. You're taking a hot rock sauna at that point. So that's just to make it feelable, like actually possible.
I guess I'm showing my mental bias, and I keep forgetting that people shoot this stuff for fun, and I keep on thinking as in training for the Army.
See, Dano's hardened up. He doesn't even have time for your recreational bullshit anymore, everybody. What the fuck?
Well, no, it's just because I just don't think in those terms. I think if you're going to go running and shooting a rifle, there's only one purpose for that, and that's to go shoot somebody. And you're not going to have a shooting pad. You're not going to have pads.
Or Dano.
Yeah.
Have you got a Punisher T-shirt you wear all the time yet with the sleeves cut off?
No, I do not.
Ever since he's hardened up, Dano every morning gets up, puts on one of them headbands, like a bandana headband like thing, ties that up.
No, but it's
Gloves without.
it's an example of we're all a
Fingerless gloves.
no.
You know, there's a good one out here. Angry says, what about those shirts with built-in arm protection? Because those are just like, those are normally pretty thin, but they'll give you at least something.
Yeah, see, that would have been nice. That would have been nice because I know when I was shooting on that concrete shooting bench, just wearing a t-shirt, like, and I'm like smeggy as far as like my elbows end in bone, right? There's like bone with a little bit of skin over top of it. So yeah, those banging up and down on that concrete, it wasn't comfortable after about 20 or 40 shots.
Now they're saying on the YouTube, on the gun channel side, bringing up a good point. I knew a couple of guys when I was volunteering out at the county range that were rifle shooters from back in the day. And I don't know, whenever it was cool to be like a rifle shooter, because they had really cool, like weird looking jackets. They weren't quite Olympic looking. But you know what I'm talking about? Those like leather shooting jackets. I think that's a way to cheat, right? They like strap it all up. It's almost like a straight jacket. It has all kinds of extra straps on it. And then it somehow like keeps their body under tension or makes it so they can just keep their arm up longer or something, right? And they usually have a big pad on the shoulder.
Yeah,
because then they can like put it under tension, almost like when you use a sling to like put the sling under tension, so it kind of locks your arm up.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of stuff in the jacket.
Yeah, sometimes those will have padded elbows, and I bet you if I knew more about that, there's probably different jackets for different shooting events, and I'll bet you they're saying what about the jackets with the arm protection in them, and that's something I have seen before too.
Would a windbreaker
Oh, you mean
protect
like
you any or no?
the fact that the modern motorcycle jackets.
Yeah, think of like an Olympic shooter. They always have a fancy like padded leather jacket strappy thing that straps them down into whatever position they're shooting from, basically, if it's standing or prone.
Yeah, help stabilize their stance.
Yeah, it's like they're carrying around a shooting rest with them.
Kinda. Well, or like a mat, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So hopefully that was an interesting topic for everybody. We pick these topics once a month or so. You know, we add to them. We sprinkle topics liberally throughout the month. But then once a month we get together with our Patreon supporters, and on a Saturday we will do our strategy show, or our scheduling show, I guess we call it. And we'll schedule out the show for another 30 days or so. And then we'll usually do another episode or more for our Patreon supporters, where we'll go through and take the schedule and turn it into YouTube videos and set the show up. So we spend about 3 hours every month or more, really, scheduling the show with the audience. So if you like these topics, or if you don't, pat yourself on the back or scold yourselves and consider joining us on one of those Saturday shows. If you aren't a Patreon supporter and you're upset about that and you think that you should be able to have some input into the show, then email us. Dano mentioned the email before, dailygunshow@gmail.com. You can always email us with suggestions. We don't have to take them. We do take them from our Patreon supporters, though. So if you'd like to have actual influence on the show, consider being part of the show. With that, I guess we could probably move on, right? I think we've solved knee pads at least. Although I suspect, I was thinking we were going to talk about ear pro and eye pro and stuff.
Look out! Look out! It's time! It's time for the Tactical Pop Quiz.
I don't even think it's real because the sound is...
That's right, boys and girls. Is what?
Yeah, that's way too good for Dano.
Ha! 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 I say to you, fine sir. So those of you over on YouTube and those of you over on gun channels, limber up your fingers, put your cursor down in the text box, and get your brains ready. Smeggy, have you seen the question?
I have seen the question and answer.
Excellent. So I will read the question twice. It is a two-part answer. Both parts must be in the same line. So the question is as follows. What were the last names of the designer of the iconic Colt single-action Army pistols? What were the last names of the designer of the Colt single action army pistols?
Wasn't it single and action?
I'm gonna say
Single-
Colt and pistol.
Like
Colt single
dude
action army pistols.
action?
Not
Colt
Smith and
single
Wesson.
action army pistols. Okay, do I need to say it a fifth time?
It was Reeve and Oliver.
It was not Colt and
Oh.
Wesson.
I tell you, I just would.
It was not Wesson and
Sweet.
Colt.
Henry Winchester.
Nope.
Smith and Wesson. These are all answers coming in on the gun channel side. They got nothing
Wesson
on
and Colt. Nope.
Patterson Colt on the YouTube side.
Oh, yeah, same thing.
What is wrong with that clock? That doesn't even sound like it's actually.
It like skips a beat.
It
every
sounds
once in a while.
real.
Yeah, real.
You guys, you just
There we go.
aren't used to real sound effects.
Real clock going at the speed of light.
We got the answer, and over on the YouTube,
We do.
by like half a millisecond. Chris, you were so close, but it's the Chesney or whatever. Chenzi. I always say your name wrong. I don't care.
McChesney?
Mason and
Like,
Charles
are you sure? On the
Richterhoff Richards.
on the
Is it-
YouTube side, by only half a millisecond, doesn't that mean
Oh yeah, it was close as hell.
doesn't that mean we always just give it to the gun channels guys?
No, we give it to the person.
So
that
the answer
earned
we
it.
were looking for is Mason and Richards. Mason and Richards. That was the answer. So McChesney, or however you enunciate your name, congratulations. You are today's tactical pop quiz winner. I'm sure you know what to do, but for everybody else, those future winners out there, head
Yeah.
on over to
Go to Daily Gun Show -pop quiz and leave us your name and what show you won.
yes. Yep.
You might want
And,
to get their address and stuff too, so because otherwise, if we just send it your name,
No, we're specifically asking for their name and which show they won.
Yep. So today is show 6-1. Where's this? Why is the number not there anymore?
324.
Okay, show 324. Thank you. I'm like looking in the show notes trying to find the show number.
It slides over whenever you look at the quiz.
Oh, okay.
You see the internal, Bob?
So,
So put
anyways,
show 324, and congratulations, you are today's tactical pop quiz winner.
yes, Chesney. I'm gonna say that from now on. So you spelled it dyslexic. So sorry, your name's wrong. But it's the Chesney that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
he hurt himself again.
No, I didn't.
No, he stretches and he's got knee pads on.
Ah,
All right.
he fell
so-
to his knees to give it all.
Whoa. You're lucky you're not on Matt's chat. So we'll move on along after that, and we will move over to Gun Channel Story Time. So might want to grab a blanket, maybe a cup of hot chocolate, set by the campfire or the fireplace, I guess, and depending on if you're inside or outside. And then we will talk about a Gun Channel story. And today it's On the Water. But from what I understand, you guys don't even know what On the Water is. We picked one that's even older than y'all.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with On the Water, unless maybe when you start describing it, I'll know it. But
It's a black and white movie.
dating back in the day.
Well, I'm going to put it
Black
this
and white movie.
now. It's
Although
now,
I didn't think there were guns in it.
no, it's definitely not a black and white movie. So I'm going to flip it around and say, does anybody else remember what On the Water is? Moon does. So
I thought I did. Oh, I'm thinking On the Waterfront. That's what I'm thinking.
It's not a movie, Dano.
well, no, he's
Talking
saying
about Gun Channel story time.
Oh, sorry. Wrong category.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was back when the 5.45 ammo was being banned, and I believe it was the 5.45 ammo. It was either the ammo or the AKs. It could have been dang, was it the Bulgarian AKs? It might have been the Bulgarian AKs that Arsenal had said something like they weren't going to be importing them anything or something for a while, and somehow, so I forget who it even was anymore, said something to the effect of the ones that are in the container ships now are all there is. So, you know, they're the ones that are on the water. I thought it was the 5.45 ammo, or maybe we were just going back and saying on the water because of the AKs. I know we were getting a kick out of it whenever the 5.45 ammo got banned, and we were saying like whatever's on the water is what's left. So in other words, the stuff in cargo ships out because it takes forever to get here. You know, somebody will buy a container of guns and then I don't know how long it takes, a long time, and then they show up. So in that meantime, you say they're on the water.
Huh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, so that's shitty gun channel story time. And it might even be for gun channels for all I remember. I don't remember it very good, but somebody had said something that these AKs or ammo was on the water, that was it. That was what was coming, and we all got a kick out of that. And well, I guess
Because you hate freedom, you like that stuff got banned?
No, nothing at all. It just the fact that they said they were on the water casually in conversation, as if like people said that. It was just something that caught everybody's ear.
Pink is saying, didn't Jaeger say it?
It was him or Tack or somebody. I think it was somebody who was a guest of somebody's show. And it was like an answer to a question. Or no, maybe it was somebody describing a phone call. And like they told us like they were saying like, you know, the person from Century said whatever on the water is what we get. So, you know, when they ban, that we've historically had to live through, and you know, these kind of infringements, when they ban the assault weapons, when they ban the ammunition coming from China, when they banned other stuff, you know, they have to draw the line somewhere, and that will mean somebody is about to put stuff on somewhere and they don't get to, and it means that somebody had stuff on the last boat. And that means that they are the last boat of the stuff coming in. Everything beyond that won't be loaded. And I think, you know, that's what they were describing is that last shipment or the last shipments coming across.
Oh, I just want to point out, Hadi has a very, very good point now that I understand what it means. Moon CZ is on the water. That
Smoke on the water? Is that what we're doing?
No, just Moon's been waiting forever to get the new CZ. So the CZ must be on the water.
Ah, gotcha. Speaking code.
That's right.
Speaking about what we're currently speaking about. Are you okay, Joe?
Yeah,
All right. So that's the on the water. It was something that happened a long time ago in a conversation, like all the gun channel stories, I suppose. And I guess it's a dead one. So this is one that maybe it'll get revived by being on the.
Bringing it back.
Or nobody will bring it back. We'll see.
I'm bringing it back.
So if something's late, we can just say, don't worry, it's on the water.
Yeah.
There
Now
you go.
Like saying it's in delivery, I guess, except it sounds cooler.
it's in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. Checks in the mail. The checks on the water. All right, so there you go. So now you have a new thing. And then maybe it could be a patch of something. We could have a blue patch or something, or half a blue patch. And the other side, sky, half the blue, ocean blue, the other side, sky blue.
Or it could be like UPS brown.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave the patches up to G-Webs, eh, Bob?
Yeah.
Brown.
Weird.
God, you guys are weird.
All right, so I think what should we go on to?
Tactical tidbits.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. I've been waiting all day for this. All right, today, 17. Oh, wait a minute. Bob's got to get his required laugh out of the way. Go ahead, Bob.
I was
Come
merely
on,
just
Bob.
saying, did you say tactical titty bits or tidbits?
Tidbits.
I was
Oh.
gonna say Dano was night striking, but nope. He knew Bob was waiting on that.
Yep. All right. So you got it all out there, Bob? Okay. This is okay. Now I'm going to mute you next time. All right. 17 rules of a gunfight. Today we're on number 13, but before we do 13, we'll go ahead and do what was yesterday's, which was number 12.
No,
12 was Okay, can somebody mute him? I hear somebody that's not worth hearing. Okay, number 12, yesterday's. The faster you finish the fight, the less you will get shot. That was from John Farnham. The faster you finish the fight, the less you will get shot. Today, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the gentleman's name, Musashi. I'm going to take a guess as the enunciation of the author's name of this one, number 13. Warriors should not have a favorite weapon. From Musashi. Warriors should not have a favorite weapon. And I think that's poignant when it comes into, like, especially like our mindset here, we think about firearms, guns, is you should have more than just a firearm in mind as a way of protecting yourself. It's rather than either this magical talisman or nothing. There should be a plan B. There should be a plan C.
As well as,
not just.
As well as you should be able to pick up any other weapon that you can find and use it not as effectively as you use your, weapon of choice.
Exactly. There are many non-weapons that can be used as deflection or possible weapons that are often laying around in everyday sight. So that is number 13 for tactical tidbits.
Oh, yeah, that's just to add on to that a little bit, kind of like what Bob was saying, is the whole, like, I think, competitive shooters and stuff get in this mindset of, they have their gun they practice with. It's got just the right trigger and just the right sights and just the right this, that, whatever. But as far as the fighting goes, you might have to use the bad guy's handgun to take care of things, because maybe, like, somehow you lost yours and you got his away from him, and, and if you're trying to make a shot and going like, well, this doesn't have the right trigger on it, and blah, that's why I missed. Yeah. No, you should be good with anything. So you should practice, with all sorts of different stuff.
Yes, and if you're custom, just to take that a little bit further, if you're used to, shooting a firearm that doesn't have any safeties, you should know how to use a firearm that does have safeties.
Right.
Because if you do happen...
It's a good thing when you're at the range with friends, try out their guns, let them try yours. If nothing else, you're learning a different skill set.
And, if you go to pull the trigger and nothing happens, that's a learning opportunity. It's not just an embarrassing moment. It's an opportunity for you to learn that, oh, yeah, I forgot. I need to flip this lever up, or I need to rack the slide, or I need to do something else. So, because, if you are in a situation where you happen to be, and let's say whether it's a police officer or a security officer is taking someone on and is unable to defend themselves, and they still have a firearm on them, that's an opportunity. It's not just what you brought to the fight, it's everything around you.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Not sure if G-Webs is still here or not. Or he's taking care of the dog.
Oh, you chased him away? Yeah, I'm not going to say it.
Well, if he doesn't show up, we can certainly go into...
what about, like, we can at least look at this movie of the day and go, what the hell? Like, I don't know, man.
All right, well, let's go ahead and look at...
well, we did. Like, we did. It's like black.
Movie of the day, Bad Girls. Made in 1994.
That was the old one.
Oh, we're talking about the newer one?
What? I don't know. I'm lost. I think something happened.
Okay.
I missed something.
The one I have, it's a Western called Bad Girls. 4 prostitutes joined together to travel the Old West.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's one
Madeline
from
Stowe.
1999, a drama about staff and inmates of a women's prison. I doubt that that's a gun movie. So let's stick with the Western from 94. Actually, that was the TV show. I just noticed it had dates. So.
Oh.
So the Bad Girls TV show is about prison, and that's not what we're talking about right now.
No, probably not a lot of guns in prison. Well, there are some, depending on the prison, I guess.
But anyway, so Bad Girls, 1994. Bunch of prostitutes in the Old West. Interesting. I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of these cast.
Yeah, I'm looking
Drew
over it, and
Barrymore. I know her.
I like Drew Barrymore.
She was in it, huh?
Yeah.
I did not know that she was actually in it.
Yeah, I had to scroll down a little bit to see it. And Bobby from Supernatural is in it. Jim
Who's
Beaver.
Bob?
Well, if you watch Supernatural, you know who Bobby is, and that guy's the actor's name is Jim Beaver.
Apparently, my kids do, but I don't.
That's a good show.
No, it's not. It's silly.
There's guns in that too. They have the magic Colt that
Yes.
can kill like demons
Magic
and things.
guns. Oh, magic guns. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Let's go back to the movie Bad Girls and the Guns Used in It. There's the 1862 Colt Police. There's the Remington Model 1858, Colt 1851 Navy, Single Action Army, Remington 1875, Winchester 1866, as well as 1873, double-barreled shotgun, and even a Gatling gun in The Bad Girls, 1994 Western.
You're going to tell me there's a movie where they actually show a girl using a Gatling gun? Everybody knows women can't shoot Gatling guns.
What? Since when?
Oh, they're too big and heavy for them. Women are like little fragile flowers. That's why they have to shoot 32s and 9mm like Dano.
Oh, whatever. Women are just as good at shooting as guys are.
Yep.
And it's
Bob's
not like you're shooting the Gatling gun from the hip, right? I mean, even guys don't walk around carrying a Gatling gun on the hip.
They could.
You turn a lever. That's all you got to turn a lever.
They'd be used to that, right? They're grinding corn and, making ice cream and
Bob.
stuff.
Come on. I know you're probably half joking, but still.
Yeah. So clearly we have not seen the movie. So I'm going to give it.
No.
And I'm going to give it 0 thumbs, negative or positive. But we are here just to throw an idea out there. If you haven't seen anything lately, it's something to at least look at and say, yep, we agree with those guys. We don't want to see it either. Or, yep, those guys are crazy. This is a great movie.
Yeah,
so
this was a movie
check
that,
it out.
Z added, so at least somebody thought it was good.
Yeah, it came up on somebody's list of things to see.
He did have good taste in movies, so yeah. Well, he does have good taste in movies, I should say.
So I'm going to try to get something ready here.
Mr. Knives says that he likes Bad Girls.
Talking about the movie.
I think he's talking about the movie.
Yeah. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but that's, for the most part, is the movie for today. And what I'd like to do next, until G-Webs gets back, is go ahead and focus on our Gun of the Day section. In which case, I'm not sure, this is on the 50 BMG. I don't know which one G-Webs was going to focus on, which is why I kind of wish he was here.
Like I'm not here for, and you can't tell there's a link right there. Like, just click on the link. That's how you know which one.
Well, I clicked on the link and I was about to share it for everybody. It just, I know you don't do the whole thing. You only do certain parts of it.
Oh my God, Dano.
Yeah. So we're going to.
We did the movie.
I know. I was sitting here.
And how the hell am I supposed to tell?
So here we are, Gun of the Day, which this week is we're doing the 50 BMG collections. So today it's this. Are we doing the 50 BMG? I didn't remember. Or did this thing get moved? Anyway, this thing is the M903 SLAP. So I think this thing got moved. We had been doing 50 BMGs a while back, I think. Anyway,
but we never got through them all. We just did some of them.
Yeah, because I think one of the days was like a special day, right?
Yeah,
so
probably just moved. Yeah, it was probably like, exactly. It was a historic day or whatever. So anyway, this is a SLAP round. So this is a smaller caliber projectile inside of a Sabot or Sabo, if you're French. And then in just sort of 50, you can shoot it. And I think this one might be tungsten. I don't know. I got a couple of them. I think that's the tungsten one. So it's a tungsten core. And it's, I don't know. What do you use tungsten for? So that it's heavier or something?
I thought it was to penetrate armor.
It's harder.
But it's more, you got more stuff in there.
Yeah, it's just more dense, so it's less likely to deform as more like punch through.
Right. Yeah, I mean, now they tend to use depleted uranium because we have so much of it.
I don't understand why they don't just use like whatever not depleted would be.
Because it would be radioactive.
You mean
Part of it
so that
part of it being depleted mean it's not really radioactive. So if you're around it, you don't start to glow.
Well, you leave it in a lead box until you're ready to shoot it, obviously.
It'd still be really bad.
it's like how many? Yeah.
Anyway,
It's time of exposure as well.
that's not what this is.
Even limited. No, that's not what this is.
Oops.
So what's the purple one there?
That one was that dim tracer. We already did that one. This is the one we were talking about. So that one's got
Okay.
that tungsten core, and then the plastic Sabo to keep it up to the 50 BMG like caliber. And then I don't know anything else about them. They had them in that movie Shooter. They claim that they're for hiding evidence or something. That way, there's no rifling on the projectile, so it can't be traced to any rifle or some bullshit.
But that's probably not why it was actually invented, because the military doesn't care about hiding evidence or whatever.
Yeah, long, skinny projectiles have less effect, like the crosswinds affect them less, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah, they have a better coefficient of air,
Drag.
what do they call it? Ballistics. A better ballistic coefficient.
So they'd rather get the ballistic characteristics of a thin projectile because it's probably got enough lead to deal with the power that this thing can give it, and then it delivers the same amount of energy downrange with less physical size, I guess.
Right.
Keep it
smaller cross section.
Yeah, I've seen 30-06 rounds like that put a 223 round in a plastic Sabo in order to get higher velocities out of it.
Oh, that could be too. The velocity thing might be a factor.
Yeah, because you're shooting a lighter projectile, but it's still got the same powder charge behind it. You know, I mean that's the rule of thumb, right? Is velocity equals penetration.
Yep. And that sounds like it's today's
Gun of the day.
Yeah, gun of the day.
gun of the day.
We'll move on to. You already did the movie, so did we
Events?
do a gun shop?
No, we didn't.
No, and you haven't. We also haven't done events.
Right.
And
So
we got
we
that.
Bueller. Nobody has a gun shop. Nobody's been to a gun
I
shop.
don't know. I've done the last handful of gun shops out of the blue. I don't think people want to hear about the same 3 gun shops I always go to.
I haven't been to any gun shops. I don't have any money, so I didn't want to go. Just
If you
frustrating.
give me a minute, I can come up with something. Go ahead and try to pull it up here.
Clickety clack clack, clickety clack.
Chat, G-Webs, if you could open that up and screen share that. Excuse me.
So this is a good time to tell the audience, since I know you guys are listening from all around the country and you're interested in guns, which means you've probably been inside a gun shop. So for one thing, as G-Webs always like to say, almost everyone's carrying a little camera around in their pocket with their phone. So when you're at the gun shop, ask them if it's okay, take some pictures, post them on social media or whatever. Send us an email, dailygunshow@gmail.com. Say, hey, I posted some stuff up on my Instagram. Tag us, use #DailyGunShow, all that fun stuff. Or, even better, or not better, but also you could just send us the name of your local gun shop and a link to their website. So everyone listening, you got homework to do. What was the last gun shop you were in? Send us the name of it.
All right. Can anybody see my
It's
screen?
that easy.
Can anyone see
I
my
can
screen?
see the Daily Gun Show screen and your screen.
Yes, it'd be the same. No, Dano's is just his logo.
Yeah, it was locked
Okay,
on.
so-
Turned it
Oh,
off.
okay, he's on there. Okay. This is Forreston, Illinois Gunworks.
Your screen is not showing anything now. You know that, right?
Okay, well, as long as yours is, that's fine. Okay. They have a brand new 2 indoor ranges, one upstairs, one downstairs. One is kind of a traditional range with the hangers that just go out and back. And then that one right there that you're looking at, the targets will actually turn sideways, which is don't shoot, and then turn towards you for a limited number of seconds, and then turn sideways, and then change distances, either closer or further away, and then turn sideways for you to shoot. And you can do it just simply random, or you can have it run a certain program. And that one, what you're looking at there, is a interactive pre-programmed ones where you go in there with a light pistol and you shoot at various scenarios that you can pick from. And it's like $25 an hour to go in the scenario one. Pretty darn cool, I think. And it's all brand new. But the downstairs one with the targets that will change distances as well as turn perpendicular and crossways to you as far as shoot, don't shoot, I think are excellent for training when to shoot and when not to shoot in that reaction time. Between, if you imagine that it's turned sideways is a no-go, and then when it turns towards you is a go. And being able to go backwards and forwards between those two scenarios, I really like it a lot. I've been there only once, but I enjoyed it when I was there. And if you're in the greater Forreston, Illinois area, I would certainly suggest going.
No, it sounds.
And that is Smokin' Gun Works in Forreston, Illinois.
I'll have to check it out when I come through there.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think that's neat, the different type of shooting range and stuff, because sometimes you maybe just want to like mix it up.
Yeah, as well as the other thing that's just really I think is kind of cool is how they have the pistol that just shoots a beam of light and it's a scenario, and the screen that you're shooting at, like you see that little kid shooting at, is reactive to the light. So right there, it's a little kid's game, but it'll actually also take you, like the other screen, through a parking lot at a store. And whether it's a shoot or no shoot type of situation. And the guy will react whether you hit him or missed him. Either he'll keep coming at you or he'll fall over.
That is pretty realistic.
So that's pretty cool.
Is that like video game people, or is that real people in a video?
Real people in a video.
Huh. And it's showing you where your hit is.
Yes.
You have done this or no?
Yes.
How much?
Now, I did it for 5 minutes because I was there and no one was there. He did it just as a demo. You can see like the guy attacking you with a hammer. That's a real guy.
So is that expensive? How much is this?
It's $25 an hour. So as compared to going to a gun range, what it is it's giving you scenario go, no-go stuff. Because not all the situations require you shooting somebody.
Of course.
It actually breaks the windows out too. That's really cool. See, after these shots.
So, and that's one thing that going to the range is one set of skills. This is the mindset.
They're already broke up.
As far as, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. I was just saying, Bob, they're already broke out, it looks like. When he swinged over here, all those windows are already broke. Yeah, this guy shoots him with a hammer. So,
yep.
Look what.
It looked like it got him, but maybe just a little too late.
So this is
Smokin' Gun Works in Forreston, Illinois.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it William Hendricks? That was you guys were gonna meet up and go to that other range. Sounds like you might have another range you can meet up. Your shooting buddy.
Yes. Oh, from yesterday. Yes, it was William Hendricks that had mentioned that.
And I'm gonna put this into our notes, so now we know that. Okay, great. Have you talked about that place before? I don't remember you talking about that video part at least.
Yes, I talked about it when because they had their grand opening about a month and a half ago, and I was there about 6 weeks before their grand opening.
Now this wasn't the chain; that was a different place. That chain shop that we were looking at that was in Illinois.
Correct. Those are two different things.
Okay. Yeah.
The chain was Point Blank or something, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Point Blank.
That's what we talked about yesterday, I thought.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I could be getting the thing wrong, but anyways. Okay, so here's a question, Dano. At that range there with the video thing, are you going to go and take your regular gun and then shoot the screen and then start laughing? Just like the Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I thought you meant like Bob.
No, Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, whatever number. I don't remember which one it was. But when he's in LA and he goes to the shooting range and he like starts shooting and it's like, these are laser guns, dude. And they like blew a hole through their screen.
Yeah, I do remember that now that you're speaking of it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I feel like Smeggy's trying to put an extra gun movie in here.
Hey, it's at least one I've seen.
There you go. And it's one that I've seen.
Maybe we should start from there. So just picking gun movies, pick movies.
Yeah. Yeah, pick one that Smeggy's seen and then everybody's seen it. If even Dano's seen it.
Yeah. That says a lot right there. Because Dano ain't seen nothing.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet because we're about to start talking about the calendar of events, of shooting events coming up here. So jumping over to gunchannels.com, we have a calendar there. Anytime you want, you can go to resources and then down to firearms calendar. And there's a place there you can add whatever events you might want that are shooting related. So we added each of them to the list. So we've got some new stuff here to talk about this week. This weekend is the Blade Show. So D.B. Cooper hosts all the blade manufacturers in Atlanta, and he puts them up in the downstairs exposition hall of his giant penthouse apartment building. And
then I believe all the Gun Channels members are welcome to stay with him in the penthouse. He's got like pull-out couches and stuff for him.
The code is 357, and that'll get you up in the center elevators and right up to his penthouse. Yeah, enjoy the pool, hot tub, whatever. And then catering, I think, is every 4 hours, just 24 hours. 24 hours.
All the women are already paid for, so just help yourself.
Mm-hmm. So
just
that's
hit pound 42 on the phone. You'll get the concierge.
Then we got I added some from Tombstone, Arizona, because I like Tombstone. Salute to Buffalo Soldier Days. So they have a couple of different events every so often over in Tombstone. And if anybody happens to be going near Tombstone in June, they have a salute to the Buffalo Soldiers. Then in June 24th, we got that fast full auto shoot and trade show in Tulsa, where Mike Friend is the host of a full auto shoot and, like it says, basically a gun show, manufacturer's exposition in north of Tulsa there. Then we've got the Outdoor Retailer Show, which is earlier this year up in Salt Lake City. And then TriggerCon, that's what we should call it. That's kind of.
I thought it was TriggerCon.
Yeah, exactly. So TriggerCon is a some kind of a shooting exposition in Seattle-ish type of place, and
it's
Washington State at least.
It has 2 days that are like a media day on the range. I think you have to like qualify for that, but then that's Friday or Thursday, Friday. Saturday, Sunday is open to the public, and from the pictures I saw, it looks like a small like NRA show. Like all the manufacturers coming and showing off their stuff
inside
the building. Yes.
There's no pulling triggers at long range. Then I thought it was a pulling triggers at long range.
No. The first 2 days are on the range, but that's for media and industry.
And the second 2 days are on the water.
the second 2 days are on the water, and that's for anybody. And I think it said it was free to get in. You just have to sign up for it.
All right. So anyhow, that's a big plug for a place up in Washington. So we don't know if Yankee's going, Hacios MC's going, Smeggy's thinking about it. Marco's probably going, and I think he's trying to sucker some other people in so he can make it a big event. That's coming up the end of next month, July, the end of July. Then we got the bullpup shoot in September. So that means we don't have anything in August. I was out looking for stuff and I didn't find anything in August yet. So if you've seen something going on in August, I know it's a pretty hot part of the year out here, so maybe it's the same elsewhere. Maybe there's just nothing planned for those hot days. But if there is something in August, put it in the calendar. Otherwise, we got the bullpup shoot coming up in Illinois in September 9th. We're going to try to get Dano to go this year. Even
Dano won't go because he doesn't have full pups.
Right. Then another one down in Tombstone, Territorial Days. I didn't post everything from Tombstone, so I did put a couple of things in here, but they do stuff pretty much every month. Each month has a theme, and I don't know. I just think it's cool, so I figured I'd put them in the calendar to fill it up. Then we got the Texas Firearms Festival coming up in September again, September 30th, and Edge is trying to get Marco to go down to that. I don't think he will, but Edge probably will be back. Then we get the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Dallas on October 1st. And then something else is in Dallas. I don't have the link to click on to the next stuff, but oh, the NRA show next year. I guess that's not right away. So it looks like somebody could, though, go to Texas for the end of September and then hang around for the Gun Rights Policy Conference. That might be interesting. Go pull some triggers on some machine guns and see some guns outside, and then go inside and have a Gun Rights Policy Conference. How could that line up? There must be something wrong here. This must be like Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday. That's probably what it is. Friday and Saturday, I bet. So they are probably the same weekend. Anyway, so then we got the Ohio Cartridge Show, which is a big gun show, basically, for people to collect ammunition. Lots of other stuff in the calendar going all the way through NRA Show, which is the middle of next year. So if you want to see more, again, go up to resources on the top of any page over at Gun Channels and click on the firearms calendar, and you'll get more stuff in there if you want. Otherwise,
have stuff in there, guys. I'd love to see more local, like, gun shows and stuff in there.
Yeah, especially like open houses.
And someone might see it and go to it, you know?
Yeah.
If your shop has an open house, I feel bad I didn't do it for Tucson Guns, because it helps the shops out. It gets some advertising out there for them. And you never know who's visiting or who lives near where, or who's got a cousin or somebody who likes shooting and lives in that area. So it's worth posting. And I guess I was saying the gun shop I like, Tucson Guns, has like an anniversary party every year. So if your shop does something like that, post it. Let people know about their event and try to get people there to check it out and bring some cameras, like Smeggy said.
Yeah, everyone wins in that situation.
Yep.
Damn. All right. Really dropped something. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep. I will continue with the show, even though I dropped something.
How selfless of you.
Anybody else have any events?
Not that I'm aware of at this time. Did we talk about break number 2?
No. So instead, let's talk about the patches, or what am I saying? The decks of cards out there. So try to keep the show funded. We don't have sponsors, but what we do have is projects going on all the time. Right now, I've got the Kickstarter deck going. I have a deck of Old West Guns playing cards on Kickstarter, and I'm typing and talking here, but eventually I'll get the link out to everybody. So we would appreciate it if you take a look at it. If you're already participating, I do want to say thank you, because we have hit the goal. In fact, we're up 2 stretch goals, but we definitely will get these funded. And now it's just a matter of if we can get them funded in the USA. So the more people that purchase, then the better odds we'll have of being able to make these in the USA. But that's why I want to say thanks again to the people that are already funding it, and then who have already backed it. But then also ask everyone, backing it or not, to help share, help get the word out about it. These crowdfunding efforts really do their best when lots and lots of people are aware of them, because then it's that element that you can't pay for, that advertising, that word of mouth, that there's no way to pay for. At least I couldn't pay for that to get the word out to people that want to buy a deck of cards like this. So we really do appreciate all the people that share it on the Facebook or on the gun channels or on YouTube or on Instagram, who do a show about it or feature it in some way. So we do appreciate all those efforts to get the word out about it. You never know who's going to see that and think, oh, that's clever, and then buy a deck or maybe two, one as a gift or something. So at this point, we're well underway. We've still got 25 days to go, but we do want to mention that since we don't have sponsors to the show, that's one of the ways that you can participate in keeping this show going, by keeping me fed so that I don't die. And then that way somebody's turning this thing on every day. Otherwise, these guys would just show up and stand around.
Pretty much, Joe.
Yep.
Hey, we can turn it on without Joe. We just don't like stepping on any toes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you died, then we can take it over.
Well,
it wouldn't be as good, but it
would be one good memorial show. I'm pretty sure we could really go all the way for that one.
Get like halfway through it before you started bickering about like the cost of the candles at the service or something, and then like how that really reloading. Like, fuck you with your 40 caliber.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's only fair we would set up a big thing with 9mm all over it.
See?
Oh, come on. I'm just thinking with
21 gun salute with 9mm.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to shoot so many guns to equal the 21 guns from a salute that I feel bad for the environment.
Hey, over on the YouTube side, great comment / question from Doug. What time will Every Second Matters show be tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow,
and it is an event.
It's the 2nd.
Yes,
it is. So that means that I imagine Heavy is probably going to blow off his show because he just isn't dedicated and he's moving or whatever. So he probably won't be doing a show. So that means we could probably do it before or after this show. It means Edge is tomorrow. Edge of the Week is on Fridays. It's been on every Friday, almost as long as Matt, but Matt keeps hogging all the credit, acting like he's been doing the shows for the longest. So I could cork Edge. I haven't corked Edge in a while. That's always fun. And then we could do it right after this show, or we could do it right before. Does anybody have any preferences? We could do it after Edge. That seems like the worst option because then everybody will have gone to sleep for the rest of the country.
Yeah, after Edge is pretty late, but after this show is good. And I think if we do it after this show, we're still before Edge. He does his pretty late on Fridays.
Oh, well before Edge. Yeah, Edge has to like stumble home and then take a nap and then wake up and then eat some fried chicken and then go back to sleep for a while, then get up and then do a show. So
so let's do it right after this show then.
I don't know about right after. Maybe we'll do it. Give ourselves some buffer room. Dan, are you going to be around tomorrow? Or are you working?
Yeah, as it clearly states in the show notes from a couple of days ago, I will be off tomorrow.
What?
So, what? I know this is like unbelievable, unprecedented, but yes, I will be off air tomorrow.
Did you get this approved by your supervisor?
Yes, Z phoned me and said I could.
Take off. I mean, geez, whiz, Dano, you're hardly here.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, so Dano won't be there.
So we'll do it tomorrow, I guess, after the show. Yeah, if that works for everybody.
Yeah, I think that would work pretty good. I might not even be here, but if I...
You give me all that shit, and then you say you might not be here.
I was obviously joking. Yes, I have work that I don't know when it will end, because that's how my life is. But anyways, I have a better chance of making it if it's after the show than if it's before. Okay, so now is a good time. Also,
what we're talking about is the Every Second Matters show. So a long time ago now, a bunch of people got together and were frustrated. I guess it was the end of 2013. We were fairly frustrated at the lack of momentum, I guess, or the lack of enthusiasm that the enthusiasm waned at the end of 2013 after an initial uprising of resistance against the anti-gunnery of Obama and all the rest. People rose up against that, and it was really cool. And at the end of 2013, we saw that was dwindling, and as a way to keep some of that alive, we came up with this idea as a group to to get together once a month and talk about just Second Amendment issues. And I think it's a testament to a bunch of the people. There's quite a few people that since the beginning have still been doing it. Lots of people from the beginning days come back and address it, or come back and revisit it occasionally. And lots of people have joined on since then. And it's not like a cause that you need to necessarily do anything, or there's no obligation. There's nothing to join. If you do want to participate, you can get a hat or a patch, or get the design someplace, put it on your webpage or something. There's a logo that Artisan Tony came up with that everybody liked, and it just says every, the word every. It has 2 ND for second, and then the word matters. And we've got these patches around the logos all over the place. And then the concept is you just wear that around one day out of the month, or you wear that whenever you want, but one day out of the month specifically, you think about creating a conversation about Second Amendment issues with somebody who may or may not ever have showed any interest in that, with the goal of, I think one of the concepts is, if every gun person, everybody who's interested in the Second Amendment and the issues, were to take somebody aside and say, hey, let's go to lunch and let me talk to you about the Second Amendment, and just talk to them a bit, maybe we would change the way guns are thought about in society and culture, literally. So, that's a big step, but one of the ways you get there is to wear a t-shirt or a hat or a patch or something around, a tattoo. I think there's one person with a tattoo that might make someone think, what does that mean? Like, what is that? And ask you. And then that gives you the opportunity to either have that conversation immediately, or perhaps bank that for a better time. Maybe sometime you're sitting in a car or waiting someplace, and you can say, hey, remember you asked me about that logo? Let's talk about the second, right? And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We get together on the second, though, and we talk about people that have had situations like that, and if they were effective or not, both to give people some insight into ways to have those kind of conversations, and also some encouragement for people that might not see the need or see how it relates to them. It's just a way to keep activism at a grassroots level alive and kicking during these times when we don't see any actual major fights against freedom. So one of the goals is to master the social media, to master the use of the internet and the means of communication. So when it is necessary again, we are comfortable with it. We're accustomed to it. We're probably hopefully a bit expert at it. So expert at it. So when we need to communicate, well, we can effectively do so. So it's an effort towards all of that. And a way to just, again, hear from other people that other people are interested in these things and working. I definitely talk to people who get frustrated along the way, and it's discouraging when everything doesn't go your way. But one of the things we do is we get together and we talk about the good stuff and the bad stuff, the stuff that might not be on everybody's radar, and eventually, that'll become whatever it becomes. By the way, that's the second of every month, and that means it's tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that today would be a good day for everyone to go out and do your homework before the second, and check in on your state level, bills or laws that maybe are sitting in committee, or wherever they are in the process, and just get an update on it so you can bring some new info to the chat tomorrow, so we have stuff to talk about.
All right, well, I guess with that, we could talk about, we kind of already talked about it, but what's on Gun Channels tonight?
Well, let's see, today's Thursday, so Yankees having a chat. Is this a week that you and Matt are also on with him?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the Shooting Left of Center podcast tonight.
And I can't help but notice how excited the excitement just comes through your voice when you say that.
No, I really like hanging out with
Yes.
Yankee and Max. We've been chatting for so long, but I just do that because a lot of people assume that since Yankee and Matt and I talk all the time, that somehow we're connected at the hip, and somehow that's all.
Right. And also tonight is Gun News Weekly. Tech Daddy does his show. It should be coming up, about 15 minutes from now? I believe it's at 9 o'clock Eastern.
I think so, yeah.
And then it's on the schedule that I do the AK podcast, so that's every other week. I'll have to change our schedule over here on Gun Channels, but I'm probably try to do those twice a month for a while here. While I kind of tread water, and if those can support themselves, then or that show can support itself, we'll put more effort into that podcast again. Then morning, we'll probably see somebody doing an early show over on Gun Channels. They usually do a long format, just open forum type of discussion where it's got a couple of things not scheduled, but a couple of things prepared. Sean will usually do some sort of a quiz or day in history type of stuff. They usually have like a movie of the day and other things. But there's such a long show that stuff doesn't take the entire, it's not like a rigid format like our show, very formal and structured. It's a more open type of situation, so you might enjoy it. I encourage you to check it out. I really like it. It's better than the radio because if they're saying something you want to say, participate in, you can just walk over to the keyboard, or in my case, because I'm usually doing stuff around, I can just come over to the keyboard and type something in, or if it's something day that I'm, dealing with a bunch of repetitive computer stuff, I can just join in and be part of the conversation. It's just a really, it's an interactive radio show. So I really do enjoy it. Check it out. It's on gunchannels.com. And then we'll be back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, for the last show of the week. It'll be episode 325, and we will be talking about England guns, whatever the hell that means. Gun biz, we'll be talking about sending your guns off for custom work. We'll have our patch panel stories tomorrow, and our weekly wrap-up it says tally board of 2A issues. The tally board of 2A issues. I think we were talking about doing some sort of a summary, and that might be because of, I put that in there because of matters. We were going to do something.
where certain bills are in standing, like the Hearing Protection Act and other things like that, national reciprocity, that sort of thing.
Like sort of like the odds in Vegas, how they'll have like a little grid there, right, so to speak, and then some sort of little placeholder for where things happen to be. So yeah, people can quickly at a glance see what status is or something of a bill.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, that sounds like something to work on tomorrow.
Yeah,
because
like right now, we don't
matters. That's pretty darn topical.
Well, no, I put that in there so that we remember to do it. I think that's what happened. Is we were like, hey, we should do that during Every Second Matters next month, and that's why I stuck it in there.
Okay.
Because like we all hear of the Hearing Protection Act, but yet I have no idea which house is it in, what committee is it in.
Yeah.
So if you went to everysecondmatters.com and clicked on the 2A wiki, you could find that out very easily.
Yeah, because we try to keep status, but it's not right there in your face. You have to actually be interested enough to click on it or know what it is to know what to look for over there. So this would be a step towards bringing that to the browser, I guess, or the surfer, like just bringing it up to the surface, the key stuff.
Yeah, I like that. That seems pretty cool. It's a very,
I think we can do that.
1,000-foot glance at, overview kind of thing.
I think we can do that with a shared Google Sheet, and then give people access to the shared sheet who are interested in keeping it up to date, and then display the sheet on a section of the gun or Every Second Matters, and then basically it's editable through a shared Google spreadsheet, and then whenever something moves, it's just as simple as logging in and scooting it over and logging out.
Right, and that maybe we can get into stuff, but that'd be nice if there was a place where it's displayed to have comments, so people could be like, "Hey, update so and so." So then we could go in and update it. But we can talk about that more later, I guess.
Yeah, we can go on to your obsession with spreadsheets maybe later.
Yeah, spreadsheets are awesome.
All right. Are we pretty much finished up, aren't we?
I think we are. We will see everybody tomorrow.
All right. Well, let's end this with our quote. I can't take credit for finding this quote or putting it in. Somebody else did it. And I want to thank them for doing that.
You're welcome.
Whoever it was. I figured it was you, Dano. This one's from Cy Robinson. He would be one of the Duck Dynasty guys, if I'm not wrong. I don't know which one. I don't watch that show, even though they do have great beards. So anyway, let's... before I get to the quote, I just want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and remind you, please share this show. The more people we can see it, the more people will eventually start watching it, and that's only going to be good for the whole gun community. So thanks very much to everybody who's listening and watching, and please, like I say, share, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. This one, like I said, quote by Cy Robinson: "It ain't gun control we need, it's sin control." Thanks, everybody, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.
You should not have a favorite weapon. To become overfamiliar with one weapon is as much a fault as not knowing it sufficiently well. You should not copy others, but use weapons which you can handle properly. It is bad for commanders and troopers to have likes and dislikes. These are things you must learn thoroughly.